We are amazingly fortunate to be joined this morning by someone who has been part of a wave of new and historic talent to leadership for Congress, part of change makers, a team of change makers first elected in 2018. She is the Congresswoman for the 7th Congressional District of Massachusetts. And if you ask, what would it be like if we had people in Congress who actually lived life, who knew what it was like to not have life handed to you on a silver platter, and then could go take that lived experience and put it into policy in a place where we have people in the halls of Congress who really understand what struggles are that people face. She has never forgotten where she has come from. She has brought all of her life and her experience to make sure she is a fierce advocate for her community and for the country and for others. And if you haven't guessed it by now, our special guest for today to close out our 4th and final day of the National Convention is Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Congresswoman, thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Squad.
Good morning, Democrats.
Squad.
Well, listen, let me just acknowledge the fact that the squad is certainly bigger than 4 members of Congress. It is anyone doing the work of building a more equitable and just world. And it's muted me. Oh, okay. Can I speak now? Somebody muted me. Are we good?
We're great.
Okay, here we go. So what I was just saying is that, all of you are members of the squad because you are doing the work every day in community of building a world that is more equitable and more just. And so I thank you. And I wish we could be together physically and in person, but in the interest of the public health, we can't. So it's great to be able to join you in virtual community this morning. Great to see so many faces representing Colorado. So grateful to be here with you. Thank you for making the choice. Thank you for making the choice with intention to give a damn, to take a stakeholder and to give a damn about our communities, about our democracy, especially in this moment when our country is at such an inflection point, at such an important crossroads. Now, the theme that brings us together this week is we, the people, and the power that we hold in this moment to address the real challenges we face and to make progress for our communities. I often say that I have many titles: policymaker, mother, survivor, but more than anything, I am my mother's daughter. May my mom, Sandy Pressley, my forever shero, the woman who gave me my roots and my wings, rest in power. Now, she didn't read me bedtime stories that most children would hear. Instead, my mother read me the speeches of Barbara Jordan and Shirley Chisholm, and she made sure that I knew that it was beautiful to be Black and that I should be proud to be Black, but that I was being born into a struggle, a continuous struggle. And she had an expectation that I would do my part in that struggle. Now, my mother, she was an activist, a tenants' rights organizer, an advocate, and a survivor. And from a young age, my mother instilled in me the value and the possibilities of movement building and civic engagement. Now, I was growing up in the residual aftermath of many discriminatory draconian policies like redlining, which still persists, the failed war on drugs, and the impact of so many other short-sighted draconian policies. There were so many reasons, so many destabilizing factors in our household for us to feel powerless. But my mother, who was a super voter, who made sure I knew that being a super voter was our superpower, she took me to vote with her in every single election. And despite all the reasons we had to feel powerless, every day, but especially on election day, she would remind me, Ayanna, never forget that we are powerful. That's right. We, the people, are powerful. I believed her then and I believe her now. And the work that you all do in community and for this party is not for an election cycle. We don't organize for election cycles only. We organize to build community and we organize to build power. My mother also taught me there's a difference in life between your job and your work. Your job is what pays the bills. And your work with a capital W, is that what you do to build community, to uplift and to advance and to empower? So I want to thank all of you for doing the work with a capital W. The only way to effectuate change in a deep, meaningful, and sustainable way is to build an active and engaged movement, one that is committed to partnership and progress. Now, that is the task and the opportunity that we have before us in this moment. Today, our communities are facing conflated, overlapping crises of public health, of economic inequality, and the only thing that COVID-19 couldn't kill, systemic racism. Now, these crises weren't created under the occupant of the White House, but they have certainly been exacerbated and been worsened by this White House and Republicans in Congress who at every opportunity have turned their backs on the American people and chosen instead to advance cruel, bigoted, xenophobic policies. When it comes to their policies, the cruelty is the point. And when it comes to their culture, the corruption and the chaos is the point. Their cruelty and criminal negligence have cost us hundreds of thousands of lives, lives that could have been saved. Now, as we look to November, those same people are attacking the United States Postal Service and doing everything they can to disenfranchise hundreds of thousands of Americans, particularly Black and brown folks. The occupant of the White House, he knows that his failures are on the ballot, and the only way to hold on to power is to cheat and to steal. This November, the stakes could not be higher, and it is incumbent on all of us to ensure that Democrats not only take back the White House, but that we regain control of the Senate and increase our majority in the House. We have got to elect Democrats up and down the ballot that will legislate our values. Now, let me sit in this word legislate for a moment. Policy is my love language because the disproportionate hurt, harm, and hate that marginalized communities have experienced, it didn't just happen. It wasn't naturally occurring. It was legislated. It was codified through lawmaking. So if hate, hurt, and harm can be legislated, so too then, and must, healing, equity, and justice. With Joe Biden and Senator Harris, we have an opportunity to show the strength of this movement and elect leaders who are compassionate, invested in working in partnership, and committed to making real progress towards the systemic change that our communities so desperately need. And as we talk about the centennial of the 19th Amendment, don't forget that from that day, it took 55 more years for Black women to have the right to vote. And then here we are today. How important is it that we have a Black woman as a vice presidential Democratic nominee? I've always believed that people closest to the pain should be the closest to the power, driving and informing the policymaking. To have a vice president who has been in proximity to the hurt. And this also honors the fact that Black women have historically been the table shakers, the truth tellers, the preservers of democracy, and the most reliably voting constituency for the Democratic Party. I'm so proud of this ticket, but that is just the start of our work. Remember, Joe and Kamala, they are not the destination. They're the door. It's still on us to organize, to mobilize, and to legislate policies in deep partnership with community, which advance racial, economic, education, transit, housing, healthcare, and environmental justice for all our communities. My heart swells as activists and advocates and agitators and organizers and community builders like all of you have taken to the streets and the halls of power in the past several months to demand systemic change. We find ourselves in the midst of a culture shift, but now we have to transition that into a power shift. We're in the midst of a national reckoning which demands a reconstruction. That the normal that predated this time, it was insufficient, unjust, and inadequate to begin with. That work of reconstruction will require unprecedented organizing in the midst of unprecedented pain, unprecedented mobilizing, and unprecedented hope. Between now and November, each of us must do everything we can to engage folks in our community, to expand the electorate. Please do not make assumptions about who desires and deserves a seat at the table of democracy. Talk to everyone and make clear the stakes of this election. So thank you. Thank you for being on the front lines. Thank you for being foot soldiers in this movement. I'm so proud to join you as an accomplice in the pursuit of equity and justice. And our work is just getting started.
Oh, Congresswoman, yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. We just need to put this into action. Our nation is grateful that you are there representing all of us, even outside of your 7th district in Massachusetts.
We all represented by everybody on gallery view so I can see everyone because I didn't get to see everyone. Hey, y'all.
You guys, are we showing up on your gallery view?
Yeah, I see everyone. Y'all look great. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take a picture of you with everyone in the gallery and we'll send it to you and your amazing staff as well. We are grateful. We know this convention week and nominating week is a lot on our demands, and we are doing the work every single day to make sure that Colorado delivers. And we appreciate you joining the Colorado delegation on this historic week. Let's do this. Right on.
Thank you, Ayanna.
Some of y'all might be wondering, why do I say y'all? I'm in the Northeast, but I was raised in Chicago, and so many Black folks from Mississippi migrated there, so we're still a little country. So we keep that.
I say y'all all the time, Ayanna. Thank you so much for being here.
There you go. Thank you, Congresswoman.
We can adopt y'all too. We're stealing Congresswoman Pressley's lines throughout the chat for what's there.
Yeah, let's